Well, I guess that's true for the people from the 60s compared with what's happening now. But of course, there were so many styles of music back then. And the Seekers were very lucky to have our own style. It was a mix of all sorts of things. And we got our foot in the door amazingly, unexpectedly, because Tom Springfield wrote our songs initially. But in fact, the song that's well known to everybody, Morningtown Ride, that you were just playing, that's got new words in it for Morningtown Ride to Christmas on this new release,
wow,
which everybody knows, of course, so well. And that's part of a whole collection of songs which were recorded only, 20 years ago probably. But we're very happy to have this out now. Universal have put it out with a whole new track on it, which is We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Oh.
So it's bringing us right up to date, and I'm singing along again, yes. It's great fun, singing. Yeah, it's good fun.
And Jude, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Seekers were the first Australian group to score a #1 hit in the US and the UK with Georgy Girl. Is that right?
Oh, look, it's not quite accurate. We were the first ever anyone the first 3 #1s we had were our first 3 #1s. They were over in the UK, but it took everyone by surprise. Georgy Girl came a couple of years later.
Right.
That was, we'd really already hit the big time and made it big. And that was our first hit in America, #1 hit around the world. But, it was quite monumentous times, there's no doubt about it. And of course the lovely thing is the songs are still so much loved today. They've stood the test of time, which is quite remarkable.
They certainly have. You had so much success and really massive megastars in the 60s. But even back then you were still making your own clothes, weren't you?
Well, I had to, because I had a weight problem, as many of the viewers would know. I had to work out what to do.
And you went to the people and you delivered. Performing today is so vastly different. What's your overview of what happens in the music world today?
Well, you see, I think the huge difference is that when we got to England, we were very much accepted on television straight away. So we didn't have a hit record at all. In those days, they used to have a lot of live television where people could perform. And the Seekers were very, very fortunate. And we used to do club dates up and down the country, concert dates and things. We were on the Sunday night at the London Palladium. But, you can't, it's really hard with everybody trying, they have all the talent contests on television now and even dancing contests. But to actually have people coming on and just singing a great song which people can get in their heads and have a great time with, that doesn't exist anymore. So I really urge everybody, including Channel 10, everybody, to just think, OK, we've got songs of praise on a Sunday, but what do we have for people? Unless it's Christmas. Of course, I'm hoping that the Seekers album, it'll find its niche because people just want to hear Christmas music.
Beautiful.
But it's Christmas or else it's religious music, but otherwise we're digging deep to be able to hear just a really nice song on TV.
Oh, you are preaching to the choir here, Judith. Hey, I was just going to ask you, the Seekers and you both perform to this day, but often separately, like in separate groups. Is it weird seeing your old band performing those songs? Do you get kind of nostalgic, or how does it feel?
Well, it's always been weird for me to not be doing it. Going back to when I very first had nervous exhaustion, which is, of course, 50 years ago, and I had to bow out because I was off stage. This was when we very first had a #1 hit, and I couldn't do it, so they put a girl in my group, in my place at that time for several weeks. And of course we had the New Seekers, we had all sorts of formulations all through the years.
Yep.
So yes, it's always weird. I kind of want to be 10 people at once because I love what the Seekers do. It's part of me like it is everything else. Absolutely love it, and I'm so thrilled that the boys still love it as much as I do. But, all of us want to do all the other things we have in our lives too, musically speaking, different styles of singing. So it's really important to be able to have the choices, and all of the 4 of us all had the choices available to us.
And you still catch up with the guys?
Yes, oh absolutely, we're very much in touch, particularly with the release of these albums that have been coming out. We recently had the Golden Jubilee whole collection, like our whole concert has only just been released by Universal. So it's been a marvellous experience for having that, so people could really catch up with what we'd done on stage in the most recent tour that we did. So I guess that was when you were asking before about when did I last perform, and I think with on stage. I think that would have been it when we were televised for that tour. Right. So it's not that long ago. But
Australian musician, very known as the Lady of the Golden Voice, Judith Durham, best known as the lead singer of the folk music group The Seekers, has died at the age of 79. Her band sold more than 50 million records and had hits including I'll Never Find Another You, Australian, Georgy Girl, and so many others. She left the group to go solo in 1968 and actually went on to release a number of studio albums. According to the statement that has been released via the official Facebook page of the Seekers group, they said, with deep sorrow, it's with very overwhelming sadness that the Music Coast Limited and Universal Music Australia announced the death of international music legend Judith Durham, aged 79. After a brief stay in the Alfred Hospital, Judith was admitted to the palliative care on Friday, 5th August, where she passed away peacefully that evening. Her death was a result of complications from a long-standing chronic lung issue. On behalf of the Seekers, they said, our lives are changed forever, losing our treasured lifelong friend and shining star. Her struggle was intense and heroic, never complaining of her destiny and fully accepting its conclusion. Her magnificent musical legacy with Keith, Bruce, and I are so blessed to share. So that was the statement that was released by the Seekers group. Actually, Judith Durham was born in Melbourne and rose to international fame after joining the Seekers in 1962 alongside Athol Guy, Keith, and Bruce. She became a world's best lead singer the following year, aged only 20. In this moment in time, all we are saying is let us continue sending messages of condolences and prayers to the family, friends, and everyone, plus the fans who are close to Judith Durham. Actually, a year after becoming joint recipients of the winning the Australian Year Award in 1967, the group officially disbanded but later reunited to perform on multiple occasions. Durham married the British pianist and music director Ronnie Edgeworth, who actually passed on early on in around 1969. We are continuing to send messages of condolences, prayers, and to everyone who is close to Judith Durham, and actually we are wishing them well because we know they're going through a very tough time. Rest in power, the Queen, Judith Durham.